Can you dig it? If you can, then let's talk about The Warriors. Oh, Stu, we've been referencing The Warriors in reviews for years now. Yeah, Ultimate Director's Cut, which has all these comic book transitions in it.
I didn't like the comic book stuff. It made it, like, awkward to watch.
I agree, it was so out of place because The Warriors is like a 1979 movie, but this was done much more recently. And it just is quite a jarring shift, I think. And also, the text is in Comic Sans. Come on, you couldn't have got a better text.
The thing is, they didn't add anything.
Yeah, that's true. I think they've done it to kind of be like, right, so there's a lot going on and the world's quite big and there's all these gangs, so let's just use it as a way to kind of transition.
Yeah. Well, it's based on an ancient Greek story, isn't it? So it's based on the book of, I think it's Anabasis, it's called. Basically means march up country in Greek. It's basically about a guy called Xenophon and the army of the 10,000. So there's basically a Persian emperor and his brother, who's called Cyrus, spent ages preparing to seize his throne. So he hired the 10,000 army to march through Asia Minor, and the plan was to merge with his own army and overthrow the throne. But unfortunately, and ultimately for them, the rebels were slaughtered and Cyrus was killed. So it left Xenophon and the 10,000 stranded, outnumbered, alone in enemy territory with a pretty annoyed emperor by this point, looking for them.
With a pretty annoyed emperor.
Pretty furious with him. Just like, oh, guys, come on, you've really fucked up here trying to seize my throne. They had to fight their way back to the Black Sea on their way home through the hostile forces. And effectively, The Warriors follows that narrative, just presenting it in this like slightly odd version of New York City.
Incidentally, who is your favourite gang?
I mean, ultimately, I think the Riffs are the best because they look hard as fuck and they're proper little military operation. Plus, they do that, who are the Warriors, which is like a classic line, isn't it? There's one called like the Turnbull ACs, and they've just got like a little tour bus they travel around in, ain't they? It's like a shit stag do. Or the Orphans, who are just a bunch of tramps.
Yeah, just look at us. We are homeless.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But yeah, like all the gangs are sort of brought together in this fucking good scene. Cyrus's scene. Is there a better scene where the character is just in that scene and that's it?
I'm guessing this is where Booker T came from, right?
Yeah. So it's definitely taking a lot of influence from the, Can You Dig It and The Sucker. But my God, it's just so good.
What made him the president of the biggest gang in the city? Like, how do you get that title? Like...
Not only the president of the biggest gang, but I want to be the president of every gang in a super gang.
You don't deserve to be the president of all gangs if you get thrown off by a rat from a gang called the Rogues. Like, you already know that gang are going to be knobs.
They kill Cyrus, or one of their members kills Cyrus, Luther.
He's a horrible looking little cunt, isn't he?
He's a right weasel. Perfectly fucking cast. He's in Commando with Arnie as well. He's just got something about him.
He is as well. He's got a horrible little face, isn't he?
He's the guy who gets, dropped off the cliff by his uncle.
Yes.
Where is he? I had to let him go. There's no kind of exploration of him or the Rogues other than them killing Cyrus. And we get to the big kind of final showdown at the end, and he's just sort of like, there's no reason why I did that. It could be brilliant in the sense that you've just caused all this chaos and pinned the blame on the Warriors to get the Warriors killed just because you fancied doing it, in which case you're a knob.
But I don't really get what would have happened, because if it wasn't for the Warrior standing there looking at him, he obviously blames him. He's like, yeah, it was him, it was him, I watched him do it. And everyone just goes, oh yeah, get the Warriors, fuck them.
Yeah, it was the Warriors! He's got a horrible voice.
He sounds like that woman from Maximum Overdrive.
Yeah. Cyrus, are you dead? Yeah, because he could have pinned it on anyone. Why did he pin it on the Warriors? It's like, oh, the electric eliminators, it was you. Why have you pinned it on the Warriors? But the Warriors are just kind of like, I don't know, like the Gryffindor of all these gangs. They're like, oh, look at us, aren't we the best? And they're just sort of a bit bland.
Yes, yeah, they are.
From this point on, it's just like, yeah, Cyrus has been killed. The Warriors, it was you. Oh, I guess we're just going to believe him now and hunt after the Warriors. And that's it. I love the fact that there's a fucking radio station that just gives updates on what's going on with the Warriors.
Every gang in the city just listens exclusively to, Gangland radio. It's just Just one channel.
I'll tell you a gang who I quite like, actually.
It's got to be the baseball ones.
The baseball ones are good, but they don't really do anything.
They're probably one of the cooler looking ones, aren't they?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I think that the Warriors game on, like, PS2...
Oh, what a game that was.
Yeah, that made good use of all these different groups and clans and things like that. Because in the film, they're just sort of there, and they just sort of window dress a bit, and that's it. But yeah, I like the Lizzies, which is the group which is just all the girls.
Just whores.
All the dirty hooers, and they get...
Hooers.
And they get the Warriors in and start having a bit of a rub up and down off them, but then just proceed to have a full-on brawl. And it's just great seeing the Warriors smack chairs to the faces of all these dirty women.
If you were going to be a gang, and there was loads of other gangs in the city like there is here, they've actually got quite a good tactic of just lure them in because they're blokes, so they're stupid and they're going to fall for this, and then pull out a flick knife. It's actually quite an intelligent tactic.
I'd say out of all the gang's tactics in the film, it's probably the smartest one.
It is.
Out of the Warriors, there's only one of them that I actually like. It's Ajax.
You like... Oh, I thought he was a bit of a twat.
Really? I thought he was the only warrior that had any character about him. Like, people talk about this film and they talk about Swan, like the leader of the Warriors. Like, he's some sort of, like, incredible, iconic character. He barely says a thing and just sort of stands there looking a bit bored.
They all look a bit bored, though, the entire film. There's not much, like... I guess other than that one who you're on about who's just aggressive all the time, there's really not a lot of emotion to any of them, is there? Like, even when a fight's about to happen, they're just like, yeah, okay, let's have a fight.
Yeah, we're the Warriors, best gang in the world, we'll beat them anyway.
Yeah.
But, like, in terms of iconic scenes, yes, you've got the Cyrus scene, and of course, we're gonna have to talk about the bottles on the fingers scene. I'll do it in his whiny, horrible voice, though. Warriors, come out to play!
You sounded like that fucking kid that did that yodeling in Walmart.
Oh, what a banging scene. This was all improv by David Patrick Kelly with the bottles. Yeah, he just sort of rocked up and
fingered a bottle.
And did some rattly and ended up being a very, very popular scene.
I like the Warriors. I think every time that I watch it, though, I like it less.
Yeah, I've got that same exact feeling.
Like, I think I remember it being better than it genuinely is every time I think about the film. But I still enjoy it. I probably don't want to watch the Warriors again because it will ruin the fact that I like the Warriors. Maybe, like, people attached to the whole story of, like, being lost and alone and having to, like, find safety in that, like, journey of overcoming the worst kind of adversity and making it home alive kind of thing. Like, maybe it's that, like, story arc that people connect to.
Yeah. Well, if you want to join the best gang in the city, the Ghoul Gang.
I didn't even think of... I didn't see that coming. That was... Oh, you sucker. Can you dig that?
Then subscribe below and join us next time for another honest review on Friday Fright Time, suckers!